Hey, good morning, DRP 1.0, retiree deferred resignation program peeps. So it's been 2 months since I posted my last progress video on how things are going with the program. And I'm talking about the whole, getting out of the government and working towards my retirement date of December 31st. And this will be my fourth check-in, I believe. So last video, I mentioned that I was on the Fat Boy program with the VA. It was a 16-week program and everything. And if you roll the video back, if you go back and check, you'll notice that I had some pretty serious jowls going on here. Since I started the program now, when the last video I was down 8 pounds. I'm down 26 pounds now for that. And I had to learn some new habits, I'm not gonna lie. It hadn't been easy, but the secret sauce for me has been water, the Healthy Choice steamer bowls. If you guys know what those are, they're in the frozen section. Those have been great for lunch and dinner. I get mine at the local Walmart. They're $2.77 a piece. So, for a week's worth of chow, for under 40 bucks, I can feed myself and, and still, be able to work what I need to do out here, get myself in the calorie deficit. I still feel, I feel full, and then I just kind of snack throughout the day or whatever, but I don't go above the, what I'm supposed to be at calorie wise. And in fact, I had to force myself to eat more. It's complicated. It's complicated. Yeah. But anyways, so I'm feeling pretty good about all that, right? And developed some good habits. But those of you that are veterans, and if you're struggling at all with weight, the VA does have a thing called the MOVE program, MOVE. It's a 16-week deal. Talk to your doctor and tell them you want to get on it. You have to be on it anyways if you want to get any kind of appetite suppressant medication or anything like that. And and so, hey, I encourage you to do that. Get yourself healthy if you can. I definitely need to get myself healthy going into retirement. So just the kinds of things that I'm doing now is getting medical evaluations done, preventive maintenance type stuff. Just yesterday I went and had my knees looked at, both of them. They ache and different things, but oddly enough, the guy told me, now I'm turning 58 next month. The x-rays look really good. I got plenty of space between all the bones, lots of good cartilage. And he's like, everything I'm seeing here in the imaging is, I would expect to see in a guy that's 15 years younger than you. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. Why do my legs ache? And so, my hamstrings are a little bit underdeveloped, and my legs kind of bend the opposite direction a little bit, which, you would probably see in younger people, but I guess I have that problem, so it is what it is. So going in for a stress test, I'm gonna get my heart checked out, make sure that's in good order. If not, let's do something now about it. I'm not gonna wait until I'm 70 when I have problems and realize that, crap, I could have done something when I was in my 50s, right? So I think, going into retirement, I want to make sure that I'm getting all of my plumbing and, systems looked at and getting checked out now, and see what I can do to, take a right turn instead of a left turn when it comes to my health, and get on track. So I think that's the smart thing to do, right? Because our spouses, our families, whatever, they need us to be around. And if I can't be healthy, if I can't take care of myself, how can I take care of them? So, yeah. But anyhow, the adjustment so far on administrative leave has been fine. I'm still getting paid, no problem there. The only concern that I have right now is we're coming up. We're in the middle of August. A lot of the DRP 1.0 folks are coming up on their September 30th date for their exit from government service. And if you're lucky enough to have a retirement date that falls in like mine, and you get the extension into December, then if you're like me, you might not have heard from your HR staff yet. I'm talking about your benefits people, because I've been reaching out to them and I'm not hearing from them, and I'm getting a little bit nervous. Now, I was reassured that I had nothing to worry about when I left the agency, and that they would be contacting me, at the end of July or sometime in August. So I'm kind of getting that little nervous itch, because I'm the kind of guy that's like, look, if something's going to go down, if they're going to back out of the deal, I need time to make some pretty quick adjustments, because you got to have income, you got to pay the bills, right? So I'm a little skittish about that, and I have been checking the OPM website, and at least I'm assuming it's for all the government. I work for the Defense Logistics Agency. That it still says in there, DRP 1.0. Those that have had their retirement request in for December, that the administrative leave would be extended until then. It's still written and documented that way. So, the assumption is what it is. I just like to have a little bit more reassurance in my hip pocket, and I'm feeling like I don't have it. So maybe you guys can comment down here below the video, or I'm going to post this to the DRP page on Facebook, and you can chat down there and let me know what you're hearing and seeing. But so that's the kind of spooky stuff that I'm concerned about right now. But anyhow, the last video I talked about the Cutlass. I was working on that. I got all those things done that I said I was going to get done. Got the car on the road, and then it started to vibrate. And I'm like, come on, man. I got the new suspension components installed, and the rear end brought up a little bit, like I mentioned, and it started to vibrate. Well, turns out that the universal joints on that thing are original. They're the old Saginaw style universal joints. So any of you old timers out there know anything about, 70s era General Motors cars, understand a little bit about those. And they were original to the car, and so it just couldn't handle the angle. They were extremely loose and sloppy when I disassembled it. I have a video posted on Watson's Wagons YouTube channel. Well, that's on the channel you're watching, so just go back and check a couple videos and you'll see the work I'm doing on the car. Did that, got the transmission filter and fluid changed on it, did the tail section on the transmission, got it all back together, and the thing is just leaking. And I'm like, oh. So the pump seal's leaking on the transmission. So the car is sitting up on here. So it's sitting up on the air, and we're gonna drop the transmission. I already ordered the front pump seal kit for it, and we'll get that done. some of the steps that my wife and I are going to take just to cut back on expenses. That truck's been paid for many, many years. It's a 2014. This Jeep was a lease. It's going to get returned in October, and we're not going to get another vehicle. So we're just going to operate off this truck and that car. We've already proven to ourselves that we can operate on just one vehicle for our needs. With me being home and her having to work, her office is only 12 miles away from here, we can very easily survive on one operational vehicle. Plus we have the Cutlass as a backup. So we're going to eliminate a car payment and let that ride for a while through the season and see how we do. And then, you know, and then apply that money that was going out to that to some other debt and get rid of it, right? So the whole goal is to eliminate debt, streamline some things, and try to set ourselves up for when she retires. And that happens in September of 28. So we have a couple of years, but we're gonna start now and start prepping for that. So there's I don't have to kill myself, over a month or two to get everything done. We have a nice, slow, strategic path to getting ourselves ready for retirement. So when it's time for us to move out of here, it should not be too painful, because I do have some work I got going on in the shop over here. I got a bathroom job that I'm doing. I'm building a bathroom in there. It's just a half bath, toilet sink kind of thing, which is, about, all the hard plumbing and stuff is in there. I just need to do the finish work. And, but, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, Let's get that wrapped up. Let's get the projects finished. Let's get all the excess crap that we don't need moved out of here, sold, whatever, and just start to simplify things. One of the other things that we've been doing, or that I've been doing, is going through totes of like papers and things that we've been dragging around for years that we've been storing. And I'm shocked at the kinds of crap that we've been warehousing in our home. I don't know, maybe you guys have been too. But so yeah, going through the garages, going through your basements and all that kind of stuff, get rid of it. If you haven't touched it, right, this is what my wife says, if you haven't touched it and done anything with it in a year or two, get rid of it. And she's right. So, so that's the plan, So I'm slowly chipping away at it. Been doing a lot of yard work since the last video. I've done a lot of landscaping on the front of the property, mulching, adding, split rail fencing, that kind of stuff. The garden that I'm doing back here, really doing good. And it just looks like a, little country kind of thing around the pool. And so real proud of that work. But hey, I hope you guys are doing okay out there, and that your DRP journey is going well, and that you got your head, mentally in the right place for wherever it is you're going. I think mine is, and humma. All right, thanks for watching. I'll check back in a month. Actually, it would be good to check in a month to kind of let you know if I heard anything from the benefits folks, so I can give you some feedback on what I'm hearing, and we'll go from there. Oh, and the truck. I mentioned the truck 2 months ago. I did all that transmission work and stuff on it, so we've got over 5,000 miles on it now. There's no problems. Whew. Thank you, Jesus. See ya.